The expected has happened. The United States has officially joined the Iran-Israel war and struck Iran at its very heart. In the war that has been ongoing for 10 days, casualties on the Iranian side have reached around 450, while reports indicate 25 people have died on the Israeli side. Since the beginning, the US has played a pivotal role, clearly not wanting Iran to become a nuclear power. However, it had refrained from taking a definitive stance on entering the conflict until today. Let's take a closer look at what happened. Donald Trump announced that American aircraft struck 3 nuclear facilities in Iran at 5 a.m. Turkish time. He stated that the aircraft had exited Iranian airspace and described the operation as a highly successful strike. Trump claimed that no other military in the world could carry out such an operation this effectively, and to be fair, he may be right. We'll get into the weapons used shortly, but after the strike, Trump stated it's time for peace. Let's examine the targeted facilities. The first is Natanz, Iran's largest uranium enrichment facility, located about 250 kilometers south of Tehran. The second is Fordow, a highly protected underground enrichment site, roughly 160 kilometers south of Tehran. And lastly, the Isfahan facility, which produces uranium hexafluoride gas used for enrichment at Natanz and Fordow. It is being reported that this nuclear capacity has been completely destroyed. Trump continued, "Remember, there are many more targets. Tonight's strike may have been the most difficult, maybe the most lethal." He then openly threatened Iran, saying, "There will either be peace or a far greater tragedy than what we've seen in the past 8 days." Iranian state TV confirmed the attacks but claimed that the damage was not as extensive as portrayed. Satellite images from 2 days ago showed trucks transporting materials from the Fordow site, indicating the core infrastructure may still be intact, but we don't yet have fully verified, independent information. Of course, another reason for these strikes is the US's view of Iran's support for various groups it designates as terrorist organizations. Back in his first term, Trump had avoided direct confrontation with Iran and tried to push for a new nuclear agreement. However, when diplomatic efforts failed in the days leading up to the attack, the US moved forward with the operation, which had already been hinted at in advance. This wasn't a random act. Now, whenever we talk about nuclear facilities being bombed, people worry about a Chernobyl-like disaster, potential leaks or massive explosions. But so far, Iranian media reports no radioactive leakage. If something on the scale of Chernobyl were to happen, things could spiral completely out of control. Now let's talk about the strike in more detail. The aircraft, the weapons. This operation used B-2 Spirit stealth strategic bombers, designed specifically to destroy underground targets. These bombers were equipped with massive bunker-buster bombs. According to US officials, 6 bunker-busting bombs were dropped on Fordow's heavily fortified underground facility, while a total of 30 Tomahawk cruise missiles were launched from American submarines targeting other Iranian sites. Facilities like Fordow are located about 100 meters underground, making them extremely difficult to destroy. Standard bombs or missiles won't do the job. You need special munitions that penetrate the ground before detonating. One such weapon is the GBU-57, a massive bomb weighing over 13,600 kilograms and measuring nearly 6.5 meters in length. It penetrates the ground at high speed without exploding immediately, going as deep as 60 to 70 meters before detonating. This level of firepower allows for devastating strikes, and according to Trump's statements, the mission was successful. So how will Iran respond? Commentators on Iranian state TV have said that all US military bases in the Middle East are now legitimate targets. Although Iran is militarily weaker than the US and Israel, it has asymmetric and indirect response capabilities. Analysts suggest Iran might employ various retaliation scenarios. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global oil transit route, is one possibility. This could seriously impact the world economy. But doing so would provoke a massive US response. Iran could also attack US bases in the region or target America's allies, such as Gulf countries, either directly or through proxy groups. Iran has several allies in the region, including the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Shia militias in Iraq and Syria. These groups could now act against US and Israeli targets, sharing the same strategic interests. What's next? In my opinion, the US will not allow Iran to launch a larger retaliation. If Iran tries, the US will tighten the screws even further, and eventually, Iran will either be forced to surrender or come to the negotiating table. And whatever the diplomatic outcome, it likely won't be in Iran's favor. How long will this take? How many more people will die? Which targets will be struck next? We'll see all of that in the coming days or months. Thanks for listening, friends. This was the latest on America's strike on Iran and everything that has unfolded. Take care of yourselves, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Goodbye for now.